Lesson 5.12, Interpreting Quadratics in Context. Just equations, no graphs this time. So it says, read each scenario and use graphing technology to interpret the question. Delta Math, duh, that's what we use all the time. Desmos is a really good graphing website, but then you're going to pull up another tab. You can use your calculator, but then sometimes you have to change the window. So I'm actually going to do these by hand, which is a good skill to know as well. So we've got that a rocket is launched in the air. Its height in feet is given by h of t equals negative 16t squared plus 32t. T is the time in seconds. After how many seconds does the rocket hit the ground? So let's sketch that real quick. And so what's going to happen is your A should always be negative because something is falling. It's an upside down parabola. You're going to see the 16 because objects fall at a rate of 16 feet per second per second. So that is its acceleration. And we've got must be hitting off the ground because I don't see a constant on the end. So let's just draw something like this. Boop. It asks, after how many seconds does the rocket hit the ground? Well, it obviously started at the ground here, but this is the point that we want. This is going to be something, comma, 0. And so what we want to do is set the y value, h of t, the height, equal to 0. And we got to think, how do we solve this? Well, we know we could do quadratic formula. We know we could factor. This one is an easy one to factor. I would take out a negative and a 16t, just taking out GCF. That would leave me with a times t minus 2. Set both factors equal to 0 and solve. So this one would be obviously t is 0. This one would be t is 2. We don't want that one because that one was here. We want this one. So after 2 seconds is when it hit the ground. Ooh, that rocket didn't last very long. All right, number 2, Lillian kicks a football. Here's the function for it. Again, it doesn't have a c value, so it's starting off the ground. How many seconds have gone by when the football is at its highest? So its highest would now be here at the vertex. We just want the time. We just want the time, the t. And so that would be finding the vertex. Find axis of symmetry, which remember is x equals negative b over 2a. And really our x is our time, so I'll put t equals our negative of our b over 2 times our a, which would be negative 72 over negative 32. What is that? 2.25. So time is 2.25 seconds. And that's all we need to know. If they wanted to know what was the maximum height, I would have to plug that time in for t here and just figure out what that height was. All right, number 3, Austin launches a toy rocket from a platform. So this time, something like this. The height of the rocket in feet is given by this. T is the time after launch. What is a rocket's initial height? That is just the c value. Initial height is a y-intercept. And so it's just plugging in 0 for x, which makes, or t. That go away, it's just 68 feet. What is the rocket's greatest height? So what is its max? Right here. We want to find the vertex. So I'll have to start by doing the axis of symmetry. I keep putting x, but really that's t in this case. So time is going to be a negative of b over 2 times the a. That would be negative 128 divided by negative 32. Oh, I put it in minus, didn't I? 4. So at 4 seconds is when it reached its max. But what is that max? I'm going to find the height at 4 seconds is negative 16 times 4 squared plus 128 times 4 plus 68. And I just put it on my calculator just like that. .324 is the max feet. Okay, one more. Lauren kicks a football. Its height is given in feet. T is the time in seconds. Interpret the coordinates of the vertex. So we gotta find the vertex. T equals negative b over 2a. Negative 56 over 2 times negative 16. Negative 56 divided by negative 32. 1.75 is our first part of our coordinate. Now I have to find at that time. H of 1.75 equals negative 16 times 1.75 squared plus 56 times 1.75. $49. What does that mean? At 1.75 seconds, the football reached its max height of 49 feet. And last one, what is the appropriate domain? Domain is the x values. So in this case, it's the time. Okay, so we've got somebody kicking a football. We want to go from here to here. So we're finding its zeros. So we're going to have to set this equal to a height of 0 and figure out what time did it hit the ground. So I'm going to try to factor this. Take out a negative. I'm sure 56 does not divide by 16. Does 56 divide by 8? Yeah, because it's 7. So I can take out a negative 8t to be left with 2t minus 7. Solve them. That's t is 0. This is t is positive 7 halves. And 7 divided by 2 is 3.5 seconds. So the domain, I don't see it. It exists from 0 to 3.5. So x is in the middle. It's less than 3.5 and greater than 0. And that's it.